Hello everyone, my name is Ethan Williams and I'll be your instructor for the MAC1105C course for sections 6 and 26 for the fall 2024 semester. What this video is, introduction video, it's really just to show you what's in the syllabus, kind of go through that, your typical first day class if you're in an in-person class, but just mimicking that. The additional information, I'm going to go through what's available on Canvas so you can see how the homework works, what resources are available to you. And there's also many helpful links and information that you can find resources outside of class as well. All right, so if you come to your home page on our MAC1105C course, it should look exactly like this. And I'll just kind of go through each little piece. I won't go in the details, but self-explanatory. First link here is just information for your office hours. Those will be posted for you here. The way office hours work for online courses is pretty simple. I'm going to have 2 office hours a week since I have 2 courses. And it'll the hours will be in there. What they mean is that if you email me during these office hours, I will respond to you very quickly. In general, I will respond to you within 24 hours. However, I'm not always around my computer, so if you're hoping for an answer quickly, that's what they're available for. Because this is an asynchronous course, I won't be available in-person office hours or on Zoom or anything like that. So if you need to catch me, you can catch me via email during the office hours. The introduction video is actually this video, so kind of a catch-22. This exists only because you're watching this, but there will be an announcement the first day directing you to this video anyway. Third link here, if you're not familiar, there's an online graphing calculator called Desmos that is free. It's available for you. You can use it for any assignment, including test. A lot of the homework and other assignments have Desmos embedded in them, so you can actually use Desmos and you don't have to go to a link, but there's just a link in here. The next couple are just some support services. So in a math class, we don't often use the library, but the Learning Commons is a great resource, especially if you're around the Tallahassee area. However, there is online tutoring as well, which can also be accomplished through BrainFuse online tutoring link here. So if you are not local to Tallahassee, if you can't get a hold of me during office hours, that just doesn't work with your schedule and you need some additional help, this is a free service provided by the school. And just some other information. These are all going to be general to the college, so any class you have should have these on their Canvas site: accessibility, student services, and technical support. The next little section here is just kind of a few things about getting started. So getting started, you don't really have to focus on the learning outcomes and tasks, as the idea is just to get you started for the course. There's not specific math information in here. Netiquette guidelines. So as this is an online course, it's a requirement for us to have a discussion board. With that discussion board, what we will have is you'll be communicating with your peers, and as you communicate with your peers, you want to make sure you're doing that in a proper way. So just some general guidelines for you there. Like I said, math classes, we don't always have these, but these are just general for every course. So the next 2, maybe you won't use this information for a math course as far as like plagiarism and all that good stuff, but here are a couple more resources in general. And then the last little section does have a couple assignments in it. So the online platform we will use for our homework is called LumenOhm. It's provided for you. It's paid for when you sign up for the course, so you don't have to pay for anything else. It should automatically register it for you as you are enrolled in this course. When you are on Canvas, what happens is it's automatically generating your username and password. So you just click on the link and it takes you to the assignments. All of our homework, all of our quizzes, practice tests, and tests are done through LumenOhm. The only assignments that are not are the discussion boards or reflection posts. So I'm actually going to click on that just to show you how it works real quickly. So I'm going to open it in a new tab. And sometimes it takes a minute to load. When it's your first time, you have to just approve of the user agreement. Feel free to read it if you want. There's nothing suspicious in here. And when you click on it, generally your assignments look like this. You click start. Since this is just how to answer questions in the platform, there's not any real math in here. But you just, whenever you're done answering question, you type in your answer, you hit submit, and then it'll tell you if you got it right or wrong. And then based on that, you can try it again or go on to the next question. And so it's just trying to explain to you how to type in numerical answers, for example, so you can read that. There's always a button for question help message instructors. So if you click on this link, it will open this little tab up, and what happens is it messages me with the question you have a question on. My only requirement really is that if you click this without giving me any information, it's just a very generic, I'm not sure what you mean. Like, what part are you stuck on? What part do you not understand? So if you say, for example, I'm not sure how to do the divide sign for this one, then I can point you to how to do that. In general, they would be math questions, so they'd be more specific, but in general, just make sure you're writing something so I know what to go off of, and that helps me better able to answer you. So one thing I'll say right now is that when you start an assignment, it automatically saves your progress, which means it automatically updates your grade. So if I go ahead and I'm done, the assignment's not due yet, I can go back into it. There's a resume button here. If I completely leave Canvas and come back in, I can freely go back into the assignment. So where was that assignment? I can go back into it right here, and it saves my progress, and I can pick up where I left off. But something that typically the first time it happens to a student is it kind of startles them is that it automatically grades even if you're not fully completed, because it just grades as you go. So because I only answered one question, if I click on the grades tab here, what you will see is that don't mind the missing and all these due dates. They'll be altered and adjusted for your semester. But what it's showing here is it's showing that I only got 1 out of 8 on this assignment. So my grade is not very good, right? It's a 12.5%. That's what 1 out of 8 comes out to be. But it's just grading as you go. Once you fix that and update and continue to work through an assignment, it will continue to go up. Yep. So that's kind of this first section here. The next little section will be reserved specifically for tests. So for this course, you're of course going to take tests in a math course. There's going to be 4 tests in a final exam. These are not fully set up yet, but just to make the video, the way it will work is you'll come find the tests in here. The due date will be here, and also an available date. One thing is that you can do any assignment throughout the whole semester that you want to, except tests. For tests, you have a week to do them. You must do them in one sitting, and depending on which test it is how long you have to take it. But you will enter through honor lock. So special type of way to enter an assignment. And we'll have a completely separate practice and a little video for that as well when the time comes. All right, so after that, basically what you will see is a module. What a module has in it, this is where your actual math work is going to come from. It's going to have, for each section, there's going to be a section name, and then the learning outcomes and tasks, and then a homework or 2 assignments, just depending on which section it is. Sometimes can be 1, sometimes there's 2. The homework assignments look like this, and they have points assigned to them. And then the section, if I go ahead and click on this, what it's going to open up and all this other stuff here doesn't need to make sense to you. It's just keeping track of things for the government and everything. So, hey, we're hitting every learning outcome, not very specific to you, but there is links to text, videos, and if you do click on this, it takes you to the assignment required, our homework assignment required for that little section, but the homework assignment is also right here. So you do not have to rely on this for the homework assignment, but you do have text material and videos that will help you work through the problems. But one thing I want to show you, I'm going to go ahead and open up this assignment since there's actual math in it. And sometimes they open up in a new tab. It doesn't matter very much. So this says blah, 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 blah. But you can see this is a first section. It's kind of mathy, but also this one's just trying to get you the number types. So an introductory section for most of you, this is probably going to be review, but like I mentioned before, if you have a question, just hit the message instructor button. Once you're done with the assignment, you don't even have to click done or anything. You just, once you're done submitting the last question of the assignment, then you're done. Some of the questions and most of them in future sections have videos attached to them that will help you solve this specific problem. So for this example, there's a video that will show you how to solve a similar type of problem. This first section, because it's review, there's not a ton of videos, but the farther we go in the course, the more and more there will be for videos. The only other thing in a section is at the top, there's some supplemental resources. These are videos I specifically made that may help you. You're not required to watch them. They're videos that I host on YouTube as well, specifically for this course. But the main thing that comes with them is that I work the problem specifically. It's very detailed. Some people prefer these videos over the videos in the problems. Other people prefer the videos and the problems over these. So it's just up to you which ones you want to use. It's just an additional resource. Right. And one other thing I want to mention is that some of the modules have an A after them. This is the supplemental material because this is a MAC1105C. The C stands for co-requisites. So any module that ends in A is a co-requisite section. You're still taking and getting all of the modules that a MAC1105C course would. So this would be MAC1105C's Module 1 course because it's not 1A, it's just 1, but you would go through and be doing the same thing as well. At the end of each module, there is a quiz and a reflection, and we'll go over those more specifically. But another thing I'll point out is that the 1A, 2A, whatever A modules there are not reflections and quizzes in general. It's just specific to the modules 1, 2, 3, and so on. So you'll see that as we go through the course. All right, so in general, that is what is available to you. I'm going to go ahead now and jump to the syllabus, and that is found in your simple syllabus tab. So just let this load for a minute. So here is what the syllabus will look like. I had to leave the student view because the syllabus has not been approved yet, but it will look exactly the same for you. There's a lot of little sections and you can click on them. So if you ever need to refer back to it throughout the semester, oh, I forgot something, I want to look at this, you will have the same kind of menu over here. You just, of course, will not have the edit syllabus button right here. But what I'm going to do is kind of go through this very quickly. I'm going to hit the highlights. I don't want to go through all the details because that will take like an hour. So course title, college algebra with co-requisites. It's online, which means, of course, you don't have a specific time you have to work on this. Like I said, my name is Ethan Williams. This is my email address. That's the way you contact me. I don't have an office phone, so it truly is the way you have to contact me. Office hours are virtual via email. And my office hours are Monday and Tuesday evenings from 7 to 8 p.m. I'll leave it to you to read the course description if you want to dive into the details, but generally what you do in this problem is you learn how to solve equations and corresponding word problems. So linear equations, quadratic, logarithms, exponents, those are the kind of equations you will be solving throughout this course, and there's a lot of supporting material for that. There's no specific textbook. Now there are textbook links throughout the course in each module, which I already showed you, but you do not have to purchase a textbook. I guess to that point, one question that will probably pop into your head is what kind of calculator do we need? A scientific calculator, something like a TI-30 works plenty well. You don't need a graphing calculator. However, if you have one like a TI-83 or something, 84, you're welcome to use that. You also have the Desmos calculator available to you, and you'll be able to play around with that beforehand to see how it works and whether it's useful for you or not. So like I said, I'm not going to go through the specific learning outcomes. However, if you have any questions, feel free to ask. Course expectations, this is really a very general, how does the course work? You will be asked to complete a variety of assignments throughout the course, as you would expect. Ultimately, the goal, it builds into you being able to pass that final exam and passing the course. How are you going to do that? Well, we have tests throughout the semester, unit tests. We have 4 of them. And to prepare you for those unit tests, we have quizzes and homework assignments that get you there. One thing, you can read through the important notice. This just talks about what I already mentioned, which is once you start an assignment, you can freely leave it and come back in. I've had students in the past that thought they could only start it and had to finish it. The only assignments you have to finish in one sitting are tests. They are timed, you're not allowed to get up, and you are proctored via honor lock. So I won't go through the detail of the grades here, but what I want to do is mention that homework, module quizzes, practice tests, these things are not proctored. You have unlimited attempts on all of them to be able to finish them. In general, homework is due on Friday, quizzes are due on Sundays. If it is a test week, that's when the practice test comes up. The tests are due on Sundays and the practice tests will be due on Saturdays. There is a schedule a little below, which you will be able to reference throughout the semester. You don't have to memorize this. And of course, the due dates are going to be on each assignment. The other thing about practice tests specifically, which I'll highlight there, this is the only extra credit in the course. So on each practice test, it is set up like a homework assignment. You will be able to do every problem as many times as you need to until you get it right. The idea is, of course, practicing to get ready for the test. So if you can do the practice test, you can do the test to provide some extra motivation. If you get at least a 90% on the practice test, you will get a 3% bonus to your test score. So if you end up with an 86 on the test, but you got a 92 on the practice test, then you get an 89 on the test. But this is not something that is rounded because it is like a homework assignment. You can always improve your score. So if you get an 89.9% on your practice test, you will not get those 3 bonus points. Unit tests, there will be 4 unit tests, 90 minutes for each of the unit tests. They're all roughly around 20 questions, 90 minutes. Typically, no one ever runs out of time there. It will only be available to you the week of the test. So all the unit tests are due on Sundays. They'll become available to you the Monday prior to the Sunday, which means you can't take it early. You can't take it late. You got to take it on time. You must do it, the test with those 90 minutes in one sitting. You cannot get up. But I don't want you to feel like you only have Saturday or Sunday or the weekend to do it. So that's why I give you all week. Just be very aware that on test weeks, you still have new assignments due that are going to probably be prerequisites for the test. So you don't want to take the test before you cover those. The final exam is a comprehensive exam. It's worth a little more of your grade than each test. And it is also longer, so you get 2 hours and 15 minutes to complete it instead of 90 minutes. The added bonus from the final exam, especially if you do really well, is if you have a really low test score or maybe you miss one of the unit tests, it completely takes the place of your lowest test score. To answer the question that I sometimes get, well, what if my final exam's lower than my lowest test score? It will not replace. It's only to improve your grade. So if you got a 90 on every test and then you get an 85 on the final exam, we're not going to replace your lowest test score with an 85. You're going to keep that 90. Makeup policy, generally, this is the college rules. You know, if you have an excused absence, we will be able to accommodate that and get that ready for you. However, if you just don't take it and you don't have any excuse or reason, you're going to get a 0 for that test. The final exam can take the place of the 0, but you have to make it up. You have to not make it up, but you have to take the final exam and do well on it in order for that to really matter. If you miss 2 tests or more, then at least one of those is going to stay a 0 because the final exam only takes the place of 1 test grade. And another thing is that there are these things called late passes that are available to you. So let's say you're sick one week, it's not a test week, so you don't really need to be excused, but you fall behind on the homework that week, the quiz on that week. Well, what you're able to do is you're able to use late passes, which will extend the deadline for the assignment and allow you to take it late. You are given plenty of late passes at the beginning of the semester, and you can use them on any homework assignment, any quiz, or any practice test. You just cannot use them on your test themselves. So you can use them on anything but the test and the final exam. Each late pass will extend that corresponding assignment by 72 hours. So let's say it's due on Sunday, the quiz is due on Sunday, you're sick, you can't take it till Tuesday. Well, once you use that late pass, it changes your deadline from Sunday until Wednesday, so you're able to do it, and there's no penalty to use them. But you only have a limited amount, so don't run out. The longer you wait to try to make up assignment, of course, the more late passes will have to be used, so just beware. There's a little section here on how to use late passes. Course outline, just general what we're doing, but the pacing schedule, this is what I was referencing before of due date. Essentially due dates, all your assignments will have the due dates on them, but this will also be a little way you can keep track of it if you want to print it out or something. It has basically each week what's due for homework, any additional assignments due, like a reflection or practice tests on Saturdays, and then Sundays what quizzes or tests are due. One thing I will point out is sometimes we have new material on the test weeks, so you do have a quiz as well, but the idea of any test week is to limit the amount of new material. So the test week should generally be lighter on new material to give you time to take the practice test, to do the quiz, to help you get ready for the test. And you'll even see down here for test 4, we actually have no new material for test 4. This is the week before Thanksgiving. So you will have plenty of time that week, and you should have plenty of time every week. That's the way the course is designed. Also got some important dates down here. So last day to add a class, drop a class and get a refund, and then holidays that we don't have class for. So how is your final grade determined? So the 100% is made up like this. 5% comes from the reflective discussions. So once we complete a module, you'll just write about, oh, I thought this was the easiest part. I thought this was the most difficult part. Homework quizzes, self-explanatory like any math class, and also the practice test, self-explanatory. The unit tests and cumulative final exam are 45% and 20% respectively. Each unit test is worth the same. So the 45% is split or divided by 4. The cumulative final exam is 20%. And the grade scale is very normal. 90s are an A, 80s are a B, and so on. Generally, tips for student success. I won't go through all the details, but just to set expectations for generally a college course is that for every class or for every credit hour you have a course, you should expect to spend roughly 2 to 3 hours outside of class doing the work. So because this is a 4 credit course, you generally should expect to spend around 8 to 12 hours a week doing homework. All right. So I gave the broader kind of range of 10 to 15 hours a week. And depending on how strong or weak you are at math, you may, and the week itself, you may require more or less, but just go in with that expectation. Don't think, oh, I'm going to log in on Sunday night and make up all my assignments. That's going to be very difficult for most people. So just be aware. The other thing I want to mention is that the vast majority of your assignments are all fill in the blank, but with tests, they're roughly 50% multiple choice and 50% fill in the blank. So, multiple choice usually a little bit easier in that one of those is your answers and you can see it. Fill in the blank is not, and that's really what all the homework assignment is based around. So it helps prepare you for the test. All right, and you can read the rest of that little section, but that's generally my rules of success. So attendance. How does attendance work in this course? Because it is an online course, the way attendance works is very straightforward. Basically, you do an assignment that's for the week during the course, whether it's a homework, quiz, reflection, etc. You are marked as attended. Because this is an online course, there's not physical attendance, but as long as you participate in the course for a week, you will be marked as attended. If you don't work on an assignment that's due that week, maybe you're behind, and you're trying to catch up, you can always email me and let me know, hey, I'm a little behind, but I am working on the course. Then that flags me, okay, I'll mark you as attended. If you're sick or otherwise unable to participate in the course for an entire week, you can also contact me and let me know via email, and I will mark you as attended as well, or more appropriately, excused absence. So you won't be marked unattended. Course withdrawal, very far from now. No one thinks about this at the beginning of the semester, but the deadline is October 29th, so around Halloween. By that time, you'll have already taken 3 of the 4 tests, so you'll know very well where you stand in the course and what to expect afterwards. All right, and I'll let you read the rest, but like I said, generally that's the highlights of the course. What else is available for you on Canvas? Just as a very quick review, we talked about the student resources and getting started. The tests aren't available yet, but they will be, and they'll be right here. In each module, you'll have lecture videos or videos and notes. You'll have videos inside the homework assignments themselves. And at the end of each module, you will have a quiz and a reflection to do. The announcements tab, very general. Hey, this is the announcements. What I typically do is on Mondays, I will send an announcement as like, hey, this is what we're doing for the week, just FYI. If it's a test week, I'll send out that as well, just as a reminder. And then on Friday, because everything is due on a Friday, Saturday, or Sunday, I'll just send another reminder on Friday. Hey, just keep in mind this is due. Simple syllabus, we went through that. That's just where the syllabus is. The discussions tab, that's where all the reflective discussions are held. Not necessarily in order, as you can see, just because of the way the order they're made, but the due dates will be available for you so you don't have to guess. The grades tab, that's where all your grades are housed, and also the grading scale. That will it's kind of doubled right now, but that will reflect exactly what we were talking about before in the syllabus. A brain fuse online tutoring, this might, yeah, so this won't work for me because I'm a student. I'm a fake student rather, not a real student. But when you log in, what it does is it figures out, oh, you're a student, and then it will prompt you if you want to use some online tutoring. Study Edge might not work either, but these are also some supplemental videos that are specific. So just to summarize, what happens is TSC, I almost said TCC, TSC hires an outside group that does very catered homework kind of help for each specific course. And they have one for MAC 1105. There's also used to be online or active online tutoring. So if you come in at night and the brain fuse online tutoring is not working, or you just find it not helpful and you need some immediate help, there should be someone available on Study Edge. But because the semester hasn't started yet, that's why it's not showing. The Quickly attendance, this is where attendance is housed. I don't think students really can, so students really can't access it. That's where the instructor, myself, logs your attendance. Don't worry, it's not really that relevant in terms of your grade. So your grade is not based on your attendance, just that it's a requirement the school has now. And then the last tab, Honor Lock. You don't ever need to click on this, and it's also not set up for the course yet because I haven't set up the test. It just has to be visible to you, otherwise I can't use it the way I need to. So really, you really don't need to ever click on these last two links. The rest of the links are all you need for this course, and you'll be good to go. So with that, I'll go ahead and sign off. I hope this was a helpful video, just kind of outlining everything that's available to you. But if you have any questions, you have my email address and you can always ask me those questions. All right? And good luck this semester, and I hope you enjoy the course. Thank you.